Now, this is the next two matches. I expect essentially to be the Summoners War equivalent of two turtles, like bumping into each other.
I look forward to seeing this. So let's get in this match right here. We've got PooLD and Livert. And Livert has got the first pick here, not before we see some pre-bans get locked in.
Yeah, so we may see a respect ban on Annabelle on Livert's side. Oh, and in fact, it's the same A, which is slightly stronger depending on which kind of strategy you're going for. Livert is sort of well known for first picking Annabelle, so that's very likely what we'll see from his side. And there it is. PooLD, he plays sort of like a ragdoll, like slightly more RNG turn 2 comp, so very likely there's going to be a ragdoll somewhere in the first 3 picks. Same A, obviously, very, very strong first pick, combines like defense and CC. I kind of expect oh, okay. So Sekhmet is sort of like a preemptive, basically, like if he's planning on doing any sort of, if he's expecting Livert to go with more cleanses and stuff to stop his strategy, like Sekhmet is kind of a preemptive speed unit as well as a fixer for the defensive strategy. It's basically he's thinking at least one step ahead there. So from Livert's side, though, Livert also typically plays some same A, I believe. Okay, so we're going to see Juno, which effectively it can be reset, but it sort of turn cycles and it's really hard to CC. And then obviously a Chroma comes out who is in fact unCCable. So that's definitely in Livert's playstyle. Like it's a bunch of very defensive units that don't have very obvious weaknesses, and then he just runes them to the teeth and lets them take the field over. From Poo's side, we have 2 more defensive units, like 2 healers. So Praha and Abellio, both very, very good units. Gurkha has not been in the field in quite a long time, so this is a super interesting thing. He got nerfed to remove his healing, but maybe if you have enough healing, it doesn't matter. He's an incredibly strong CC unit. And then we have Veramos come out, which is there to cleanse like Annabelle slows and armor breaks, as well as being effectively a direct counter to Gurkha, cleansing the entire team each time he takes a turn. I'm kind of expecting to see actually, I don't know what he's going to ban on Livert's side, honestly. I feel like he's not going to ban Gurkha since he has the Veramos. And I kind of expect to potentially see a Shizuka ban on Poo's side.
Yeah, I feel like I could definitely agree with that. The Shizuka getting banned out here. Oh my god. It looks like the Veramos is going to get the ban here. And of course, we're going to see the Wind Totemist Riley is going to get banned out here. This honestly looks exactly like what you said. We're looking at 2 turtles. One kind of looks like a snapping turtle in the form of Livert with a little bit more aggression than Poo. But we'll see what happens, guys. We get into our very first match with Livert and PooLD.
Yeah, one of the big things we're going to see is the Sekhmet is not very useful in this matchup because Livert's side really only has 1 unit with like particularly who really has cooldowns. He does get the cooldown on it on Annabelle.
Yeah, he was able to get the reset there. Only 2 sleeps, of course, going to be landing on the Juno and that Gurkha as well. Obviously, you know Annabelle to be ruined on max resistance, and nothing can land on top of the Acroma.
Yeah, so the strategy for Livert is effectively going to be to take the game over with Gurkha eventually. But I mean, Annabelle with both violent as well as the first skill, like pseudo violent from the sleeps, is going to very likely get his skills back quickly, and in fact, like now can cleanse on the next turn, and then the Acroma silence is going to stop the secondary CC from the sleep. Or actually, no, he already slept. Actually, never mind.
And Annabelle, so good in my opinion. I absolutely love this unit right here. A unit that Livert keeps in his wheelhouse for sure. But I do think this Shizuka can be a little bit of a problem. Everything that gets laid down on this field can happen right there with that 3rd skill.
Yeah, it does, however, look a little bit rough from PooLD's side in so much as he only has a couple of really good damage options. He has armor break from Sekhmet, which could lead into, if his Abellio is rune for high damage, could, like, say, kill the Juno potentially if he lands the armor break. In fact, he may be going for that right now. And then obviously additional damage from Praha is just really good damage over time, but it's really hard to, like, snipe something out with that.
Yeah, definitely. See what kind of damages the Abellio is going to bring to the field. He's got the Wild Blow coming out with the defense break. Does land a pretty hefty hit there on Annabelle.
Gets the proc, so he's going to have a little bit more damage, but he is going to be healing up from the Juno taking a turn. So unfortunately, he's going to be losing a lot of that damage. And there's the turn cycling coming in.
Yep, exactly. I mean, if he didn't get that sleep before, he would have had that skill up right here. And that's just, it's how crazy Annabelle or the Occult Girls can really be getting these sleeps with all the additional turns, probably being ruined on Violent as well.
Yeah, and so now we're going to start seeing the Gurkha engine really start taking off. He doesn't have any cleanses other than sort of the inherent one from Abellio. So, like, if he manages to get those, like, Shizuka, Sekhmet, and Praha all taunted, like, the game's basically going to be over at that point.
Yeah, most definitely. We do have third skill up here with the Sekhmet. He may just try to put this back on the Annabelle, and he is going to go right back on the Annabelle with that guy right there. Obviously, Pra's going to be taking a lot of damage when it was defense broken. Gurkha trying to land more provokes, not getting the provoke there on the Abellio. He's able to heal up his team.
That resist was basically, like, averted the end of the game, effectively. But I still think, at this point, Livert is very, very favored.
He really is. A lot of sustain. The two bruises in the form of the Acroma and the Gurkha, definitely something that's going to be really tough for PooLD to get through, but he's definitely trying with the additional turns. More sustain, you know, delaying the, I don't want to say the inevitable, but, you know, keeping his team alive.
Yeah, he keeps going for the Sekhmet, but the sustain is really good on PooLD's side. I think Shizuka has enough time left before her cooldown that he should be able to get at least one taunt in on Gurkha, but that should be coming up again fairly soon.
Ooh, that's honestly exactly what PooLD needed to see right there, was that additional turn, because right now I think this Annabelle is going to drop to the Shizuka, and does drop. That definitely puts a damper on Livert's plan here.
Yeah, but all he has to do is get the Gurkha engine going. Unfortunately, he doesn't have any active healing anymore for the Gurkha, so the only thing that's going to land would be, or the only healing he would have would be potentially from Juno, picking up incidental debuffs. So it actually has kind of shifted, and PooLD is getting amazing procs here, which was 100% planned on his part, I assume.
Most definitely. Those additional turns coming out of Praha, very dangerous. She's able to get that third skill up and just keep up with the sustain on the side of PooLD. PooLD might possibly be turning this thing around.
Yeah, for sure. Like, so at this point, I mean, the thing is the Acroma does hit really hard. Oh, those are really good armor breaks, though. Abellio will almost definitely kill one of those two on his next turn.
Oh, definitely. You're going to see potentially a Despair Stun coming out here. I feel like he has to roll the dice with the second skill. Chooses not to and just does that first skill into the Sekhmet.
It's kind of interesting at this point for him to continue to go into Sekhmet, because there really isn't much that Sekhmet adds at this point, since it's basically 3 first skill using units. But yeah, I'm very curious why he keeps going after the Sekhmet, but I guess it's just because it's squishy and he can kill it.
Yeah, just one less unit onto the field. I'm assuming that's why he was going after the Sekhmet as well. I mean, the Sekhmet's Curse the Beautiful offers a lot of value here, but when you have a Shizuka that puts Curse the Beautiful and some on the field, it's kind of useless to, you know, prioritize a unit like that now. That
Silence Miss was pretty strong, but at the same time, he probably won't use third skill on the Shizuka, just because it would give Juno debuffs to heal the Acroma.
More additional damage going right into the Acroma, and that's going to be it. Livert with just a lonely Juno right now. I don't know if Juno's going to have what it takes here to finish off this match. I think the Shizuka, the Praha, all 3 water units are just a little much for this fire unit.
Yeah, the Juno is doing some work, but unfortunately not so. Couldn't close it out.
Not enough. PooLD taking round 1 away from Livert.
Yeah, that was kind of what I expected from that matchup. Basically, just a lot of sustain, a lot of healers, a lot of what I would call like very efficient hybrid units that offer like you know, maybe like 70% of the damage of like a more aggressive unit, but then obviously like comes with a heal as well. That's a playstyle that obviously we've seen a lot out of Livert. PooLD, actually, in my experience, I used to draft a lot more LD monsters than this, so it's actually kind of interesting to see this sort of draft coming out of him.
Yeah, this definitely looks like he did a little bit of homework on Livert, and he decided to bring a lot of sustain. I guess as much sustain as Livert was trying to bring to the table as well. Because I thought Livert had the edge here, because I thought he had the bruises, thought he had the sustain. I thought everything was going to be fine. Abelio clearly having enough damage with Wild Blow, able to, you know, get the edge on Livert and apply enough damage on the field with that one unit.
Yeah, there was a very critical Gurkha resist in there that basically decided the game, in my opinion. So here I would actually, like, because of his ban in the last game, I think we're going to see either a Juno or an Annabelle pre-ban from Poo. Livert, I don't think we'll see Shizuka, but Gianna. Okay, so he also did some research. Let's see. So first pick now in PooLD's favor. Probably going to try to steal a unit from Livert, potentially maybe a Juno. That's kind of a really weird first pick, though, so maybe I'll be wrong on that. Shizuka. The most winning elemental unit currently in the game. Seimei, very, very strong. And also, it's a good season for it with the Onmyoshi skin. So, and then steals Sekhmet away from PooLD. Very, very strong in this kind of a matchup. Nikki is, by win rate, one of the strongest LD monsters currently in the meta. Although pick rate obviously not nearly as high. But again, this is a battle of DPS supports that do good damage, based typically on additionals or, and then Leona coming out, Kinky, pretty strong. I'm not sure I like Kinky here because other than maybe like Praha doesn't have that good of a matchup into it, but I feel like you have a bunch of cleansers and like good damage and anti-heals, so on the side of PooLD, so I don't really like the Kinky pick here. Kraka is in a slower fight, is an incredibly OP monster, so for those of you who have Kraka and have never really given her a good chance, now is your time to maybe see that you should. Because especially in these sort of like lower speed fights, she offers incredible utility and like turn cycling and armor. You know, it's just a great unit. So the last pick from Livert. That's an interesting one. I'm assuming that's because he thinks that the Kraka is built on Despair. They usually are, but it's still kind of an interesting pick. I guess it also works into the Praha Sleep, but I'm not sure that I agree with that pick, but at the same time, it's Livert. He knows what he's doing. He's been here before, you know, in this kind of a match. So
definitely with a Josephine last pick like that, I feel like it was 100%. He was going to be banning out that Ganymede, bringing a Josephine to the table, but Ganymede's going to get banned out. Leona's going to get banned out here. Guys, we have our match number 2 in the semifinals with Livert and PooLD. Is this it for Livert, or can Livert hold on for just one more match?
Yeah, right now I think if someone asked me to look at this game, I would have given PooLD the advantage. I just think in general the strength of his monsters is just slightly better, and there aren't so many debuffs on the side of. So that was so there's the Despair from Kraka. So this is exactly what the Josephine was brought for, and unfortunately, that's a rough turnaround.
Yeah, that's a really rough turnaround for the Despair Sun. So it's nice to confirm the Despair Kraka, but boy, you don't want to see that Revenge Sleep going right back onto that Josephine there.
Yeah, so Seimei does provide a great amount of sustain, especially in light of like the number of debuffs that Shizuka can put out. But at the same time, like there's going to be heal blocks. Like effectively, PooLD has 2 different forms of heal blocks, which makes Seimei not quite as good.
Yeah, most definitely. Nikki looking to try and, or it looks like PooLD's trying to deal with that Seimei first as a unit to tag it out. See if you can deal with that unit. We've got just a skill 1 there, trying to apply some dots, get some more damage out onto the Seimei. Seimei, I don't think she could do too much. Maybe that second skill onto the Josephine to keep up with the passive, but looks like he's just going to go with some skill 1s instead.
Yeah, like right now, Seimei is the primary sustain on the side of Livert. So, but at the same time, like Seimei doesn't do too much if you're not actually applying debuffs. So he may just be trying to essentially skill 1, like, you know, poke down the Sekhmet first thing.
Yeah, it looks like Livert's trying to deal with the Kraka first. That's a very good proc with a defense break on top of the Kraka. I feel like he has to go right into that unit and try to take care of it, but looks like he opted for a stun on top of Praha and did not receive it, but he does have the reset available with the Sekhmet.
That's a good reset, because now he probably is going to skill 2 with Kinky to get the to secure the kill on Kraka, but yeah, especially because the issue is that if you don't take out Kraka first, she could potentially resurrect your team, and then again with like she resets all their cooldowns as well, so she's effectively a single unit reset of the match, unless you deal with her.
Yeah, most definitely. We're going to see Praha looking to pummel her away, try to get through this Sekhmet. Looks like PooLD really wants to get rid of the Sekhmet just to stop the resets on the field. We do have all skills in passive available with the Josephine, so no more despair units out here, but we do have the sleeps that can pop up from the Nikki and the Praha.
Yeah, that was a good provoke. So a few patches ago, they changed the Praha strip so that it actually gets rid of the resurrect. I forgot the name of the buff. Before it does the damage, so you can actually kill them through it with the strip. So that's probably what he was trying to avoid by taunting the Praha.
Yeah, definitely. Nice stuns, though, finally laying on top of Nikki. Nikki not violent proccing out of this stun right here. She was keeping up with that before, proccing out of whatever Livert was trying to keep that unit down with.
Yeah, right now, I mean, obviously, like being down a unit and also like the primary armor breaker, this is looking pretty good for PooLD, but as the match goes on, Nikki is going to be able to pump out some incredible damage with her skill 3, which she's been actually kind of avoiding using, probably to not get armor broken by the Kinky. But yeah, that's going to come into play a little bit more. Like, here we go.
Oh, let's see the kind of damage you're going to see from the skill 3. Looks like almost 3k per hit. Really nice. Again, another additional turn after getting defense broken. Healing up himself, looking really good for PooLD right now, to be honest.
Yeah, that was a very fortuitous proc, because otherwise she would have just died to Kinky. And here comes the armor break again, so that's probably going to secure kill on. Well, that's also a super good proc. We love procs.
Don't we all? That is a very, very good proc there. He might actually be able to take care of the Praha. Opting to go for a provoke on top of the Shizuka instead, though.
Yeah, he's just going to let the Kinky kill both. Oh, never mind. He doesn't have the AE, so hopefully he can secure kill on the Praha. But I believe if he doesn't, I think it has heal this turn, actually. Ooh, that is an unfortuitous proc.
Yeah, that was really, that's not at all what PooLD was going to be looking for there, and that kind of just turned Livert on to just eliminating 2 units just like that. Does have second skill available here to get the Kraka with her third skill to get everybody back here on the field. That's such an incredible synergy.
Yeah. Shizuka is a broken unit, but unfortunately she's a dead broken unit at this point. So, yeah, I think this is pretty much secured for Livert, but I believe, as I said a second ago, I believe Praha does have her heal up, so... Yeah,
but I do believe the passive's down on the Josephine. I don't think the shield... Oh, never mind, the passive is up. Definitely in Livert's favor right now. He needs to land a little bit more stuns, though, and as you say that he finally gets that stun on the Nikki.
I mean, I mean, this is over, unfortunately, but... yeah, I don't think there's any way Praha comes back from this, unfortunately, and Nikki's dead now.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the Seimei can do whatever she wants, whether it's reviving a unit back, but Praha's not going to have that heal up anytime soon, so that's definitely going to be it for the Nikki, and he's going to be wrapping up that Praha right here, and there you have it. Livert hangs on, taking round 2. We're going into a game number 3.
pretty sure that was a bad manner resurrect on the part of the Seimei to do that first skill, but we won't hold him against him. That was a hard one fight. He can stunt a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of violent procs throughout that entire match, though. Favoring both players, to be honest, but there was some really, really unlucky turn of events, you know, for Livert, where Nikki was proccing out of a lot of stuns and getting a lot of sleeps. There was a lot of sleeps from that Nikki first skill, you know, another reason why these occult girls are just so good.
Yeah, but it's kind of a dual-edged sword, because every single time she sleeps, you have that potential of getting to trigger the Josephine, and the Josephine will actually steal the additional turn from the occult girl in that case. So they sort of like lose out on their additional turn. Like, for instance, if they had just violent procced instead, then they would have gotten her to, you know, like that sort of a interaction, which actually makes it, yeah, there was a lot of, if you visualize as a bunch of dice rolling, that's basically what that matchup was in a lot of ways.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of RNG throughout that entire one. We'll see if there's even more RNG as we get into round number 3 with PooLD and Livert. We've got the pre-bans from last time. Annabelle and Gianna now available. New pre-bans getting locked in right here.
Yeah, I kind of expect we're going to see maybe a repeat of the pre-bans from the first round. But at the same time, like, I wouldn't put it past them to, or I wouldn't put it past Livert to pre-ban the Kraka, because she had a lot of effect in that matchup in the previous game. They're taking their time this time, so. Oh, it's the Annabelle. So again, two very, very strong LDs getting pre-banned. They've seen what each other can do, so that's not super surprising. Livert has the first pick. And there's the classic, the Annabelle coming out first pick again. PooLD, again two of the bigger playmakers in the previous round. We have Shizuka and Kraka. Hasn't locked it in yet though, so he may be thinking about it. And there it goes. Sekhmet, very, very strong. Akroma, super good. Basically is immune to both of the already picked units on PooLD's side, so very, very strong pick. Praha is an interesting one, because Praha wasn't particularly present in the meta up until literally in the last day or two, and now she's just shown up. So it's kind of interesting to see her featured so heavily. I actually am unfamiliar if PooLD was drafting it a lot during the rest of the season, but obviously he's picking it a lot during this matchup. So Ganymede I do find a little bit interesting. I guess it kind of fixes the Sekhmet because it can reset whatever Sekhmet resets. And then from Livert's side, the Kinky again, which I mean, again, he's the master of turn 2, so he probably knows what he's doing, but I'm not particularly fond of Kinky as a pick. And then obviously Riley, very strong, has been since she released, but and offers immunity. And then here comes Wusa as a counter immunity. Livert doesn't have a strip, so Wusa is very, very strong. Like, for instance, if he bans Sekhmet, or if he actually, it's fine because if he has Ganymede, it'll fix the Sekhmet anyway. I'm kind of expecting a Wusa ban, and both immunities are banned out.
Yep, both immunities getting banned out here. Accuracy lead for PooLD. We got an HP lead coming out for Livert. We have our last match here in the semifinals. Is Livert gonna make his way to the final here? Is this his first time here with PooLD's first time here in a legendary tournament? So both players really fighting for their spot right now.
Ooh, resisted. Classic Sekhmet. So that was kind of an interesting choice on who to reset, because Ganny is going to be able to fix pretty much whoever he resets. There's only a couple of choices here, and Annabelle is the more likely one. Sekhmet, due to that resist, does still have her third skill available, so you're going to potentially see a reset on Sekhmet if she doesn't use her third skill right here. So I'm kind of expecting to see it.
There's that third skill happening right there. Get some stuns onto the field as well. Of course, nothing again landing on top of the Akroma. More damage and more priority going towards this Annabelle, looking to remove from the field. That's a lot of damage from Akroma going right onto the Praha. Praha with the additional turn and heal, really saving PooLD's team here.
Yeah, the proc out of the armor break was really strong there. If Akroma had procced, or potentially if Praha hadn't procced out of the defense break, we would have seen a kill sometime in the next round or so. Unfortunately, he has the ability to infinite proc off of some of these, so you may actually see him go for it. I mean,
wow,
he almost did it.
He did get one of the sleeps. Yeah, he almost had it, and he needed to land that sleep on top of the crack as well. Would have had that skill 2 up here. A little bit more priority once again going towards this Praha. Praha, of course, with soul protection to save herself just a little bit. Everything's going to land on the other side of the field with that 3rd skill from Shizuka. More damage is going to be coming out with that 2nd skill from Kraka.
Yeah, Kraka's ability to the turn cycle, like similarly to Ethna, is showing itself really well here. I mean, even with the Akroma, it's still that it can't. Even with the Akroma and the basically the anti-crit, it's still turn cycling pretty much perfectly fine. So again, those of you at home, if you have a Kraka and you've never given it a chance, this is a perfect example of why it's good.
There's that Daydream putting just that Kinky to sleep here. Healing up the team as well, looking very good for PooLD.
Yeah, so he's trying to secure the kill on the Kinky. I'm not sure if he's going to get it. And then in addition, this isn't going to reset the Akroma. There's a potential here for the Akroma to actually kill both of those units. Well, he procs out of the armor break again. So now it's going to be really, really rough. I don't think Akroma quite has it in her to 1v4 these, but... And he's not getting very good procs on Akroma, unfortunately. So
yeah, definitely. I think he needed to kill that Kraka there, and that's not what's happening. I feel like this is definitely going to be it for Livert in his very first Legend tournament. It was great to see him here. I just don't see this working out for this Akroma all by her lonesome with the Shizuka 2nd skill, with Kraka's 3rd skill. He's in a tough situation indeed.
Yeah. The Akroma, unfortunately, is going to die valiantly, but die she will. So, looks like the game will be going towards PooLD.
100% it is. Round 3 goes to PooLD, and that's going to be wrapping up our semifinal matches here. You know, it may not be the Livert we were hoping to see tonight, but we still saw, you know, some pretty good play from both these players. A lot of sustained, you know, that war of attrition, might I say.